Good afternoon. Welcome to the Stock Market Game How to Get Started webinar. Today we will be going through the student portfolio screens as well as the Teacher Support Center. This will help you get started in your classroom. This is our home page for the Stock Market Game. You can see here some information about the program and what's going on with the stock market game itself, some market news, and then a table here that gives you information on the different indices that are available. A little bit lower, we have some videos about the teachers and students that have participated, and then we also have some information about some of our supporters. Across the top, we have Explore. We have a section for students, parents, teachers, and then if you're interested in an after-school program, available here as well. Under Resources, the Teacher Support Center, places that we have impacted, the information about the foundation, Invest Right, Capitol Hill Challenge, etc. Under the registration area, we will go in to see how it is that you get started with registration. If you have not yet registered, you'll first select your country. You will then select your state. And this will bring you to the Arizona homepage. The Arizona Council on Economic Education sponsors the program in Arizona. The coordinator here is Brett, and his contact information is available right here. So if you need to get in touch with him, this is where you can easily find it. There's also information about the program. There's an introduction. There's information about the participation and the fees. Right now, the game is offered at to schools for $15 per team. Once you've registered, you will be sent an invoice for that amount, but you will also get your IDs and passwords. Information about the sponsors that help to make the program available in Arizona, the different competitions that are out there, the game dates that are available, teacher training that's available, and a little bit more information about us. If you click Register Now, this is where you go to get started with your registration. You'll see various types of registration. We have Teacher with Classes. That's where the teachers register to play with their or to get their students involved in playing. If a teacher wishes to play themselves, they can register here as a teacher wishing to participate, and they will be actually participating against the other teachers. Parent-child competitions, and then also post-secondary college level students can register for a game here. Most common, though, is the Teacher with Classes. So as a teacher, you're going to go in here and register your classes. You click on the button to continue. Make sure you check this button that says that you've read the information, and then complete the online registration. Your email, your name, information. Down here you have your game dates available. You can put in the 3 to 5 digits, first 3 or all 5 digits of your zip code, and hit Retrieve Schools. It'll pull up your school name, hopefully. If not, just go enter or correct school information, and you can enter all of this information here. Down below, payment information, whether you'll be paying by check, purchase order, or if you want to pay through PayPal, there is information on the website on how to pay through PayPal, and you can do that also. Once you've registered, you'll receive your ID and password. Your ID and password will give you access to the Teacher Support Center. Click here. We go to log in. The student IDs and passwords you'll receive as well, usually about 3 weeks, up to 3 weeks before the game begins if you've registered early. Once you receive the IDs and passwords, keep in mind that these IDs and passwords are case sensitive, so you're going to want to make sure that they are entered exactly as they're given to you. If it's capital SIA underscore, that's how it needs to go in. This will give us access into the student portfolio screen. This is the first screen the students will see once they have entered into the portfolio. Some of the things that they're really excited to see are how am I ranked, so how am I doing, how much money do I have available to spend, and what's the value of my portfolio at this time. So this information is all available here on this first screen. As we scroll down, we'll see count holdings. There's some graphs and tables. We've added graphs and tables and charts wherever possible to help students practice the skills that they need for standardized testing. So we can see here some information that's available through the different charts. Down here we also have the ability to look up a ticker symbol or some information about it. And this brings up information. We can see it in different types of charts, so we can select a line chart or another type of chart, but we can see information here regarding the symbol that we've just looked up. We also have, again, how the indices are doing available on the screen. If students are interested in how they're doing in the rankings, the regional rankings are done, we saw on the competition page, by grade level, so elementary, middle school, high school. It's the top team or the position that you're in is going to be highlighted in different colors. So you can see here this team is in first place, and some information about the other teams that they're competing against, the schools, the teachers, etc., and also their total equity. Coordinator rankings are based on how all of the teams that are ranked are doing competitively. So the elementary, middle school, and high schools are all together here, so you can see if your elementary school kids are beating out some high school students. And you just click on that link like we did before. At any point, if you're looking at this portfolio screen and you're not sure what any of these topics mean, like if you're not sure exactly what values of shorts mean, you can put your mouse over and get a short value of shorts. But if I click here on this I in the circle, the blue circle, it gives me information. So I see number 2 is highlighted here. I scroll down and it actually gives me a definition of those topics. It gives me the formula and a little bit more information, so hopefully I can answer some of the questions for myself. It's a good tool to show your students so that they will be able to answer a lot of the questions themselves. Now we're going to go and look at the account holding screen. Looking at the account holding screen, we're going to be able to see the actual stocks, bonds, mutual funds that are currently held in the portfolio. We can see down here, based on this pie graph, that we've got stocks, bonds, and cash in this portfolio currently. As we scroll down, we can see the different holdings that are in the portfolio at this time. There are different ways of looking at this. We can click the ticker, and it's going to put them in alphabetical order according to that. We can do it by date, click this button, and it goes according to when things were purchased. So some of these are from almost a year ago, you can see. So you have different ways of looking at the information on this page. If I wanted to make a trade from this page, I could just click here. It would take me to this trade screen, and it already pre-populates with the ticker symbol that I'm interested in trading. We'll get into trading a little bit more in a moment, but I just wanted to be able to show you that. Top holdings are all of the top stocks that are bonds, mutual funds that are held in the game at any given time. And now these are stocks, bonds, mutual funds that are held in the national across all of the states. So it's not going to necessarily be just in Arizona. It's going to reflect what's done nationally, what students are trading. Transaction history. This is another good tool and place for students to go to look up information if they're not sure why their portfolio has done something. You'll see here the transaction types. So we've got some interest that was debited from the account because we had been we had over-exceeded and bought on margin. We have dividend payments from one of our holdings, and then we had sold some shares here, so you can see this information. And if you look, this is during the dates of July 22nd through August. And I can extend this date and go back couple months, and check to see what else has happened in my portfolio during that time. And so you can also see in, the different dividends that have been paid throughout the course of the game. So other ways of making money besides just the stock price going up or mutual fund or et cetera is to actually get a dividend payment from a security that you own or a coupon payment from a bond that you own. So if it makes a payment during the course of the game, that is deposited as cash into your portfolio, and you can see that right here. Again, we have our I in the blue circle at the top. So if there are any questions, you weren't really sure what these transaction types meant, you just click on that and it's going to bring up that PDF with the definitions to help clarify for you. Realized gains and losses, just a page that shows you where you've sold and if you've made any money by doing that. So here we've got a couple of gains. Everything's in the black, so that's a good sign. We've made some money based on securities that we've sold off. And then the rankings, again, we can look at it from here. I'm going to jump over. We'll go back to trades in a bit. But rules of the game, it's important that you go over the rules of the game with the students. They're the general rules for the stock market game. These are such things as minimum number of shares that you purchase, which is 10 shares of a stock or a mutual fund. The amount of money that you pay if you are purchasing on margin. So if you've gone above and beyond your $100,000 and you're borrowing money, you're paying 7%. The commission fee that's charged for each transaction, which is 1%. If you have a cash balance, that's earning 0.75% interest. Shares that are in the, you can now purchase shares that are valued at $3 per share. So those are some of the rules that you want to look at. Also view the local rules and just see if there's anything that is new to the game that the Arizona Council wants to make sure you are aware of. Outside links is a place where you can go to do some of your research. The students can use whatever sites they want. These are just a couple that we offer or recommend. Glossary of Financial Terms is an online dictionary. Oops. And if the students want to change their password, this is where they go to. Even if they don't, even if you don't show them this, they will find it. They will change their password, and I promise you, they will forget it. I was a former teacher, and I taught the stock market game in my classroom, and quite frequently these students would forget their password. So if that happens, just contact the coordinator and ask Brett to please send you the updated IDs and passwords. Okay, so now we're going to look at transaction notes. This is another great place for students to go and look to see what's going on in their portfolio, and this tells you everything that's happened. So you can see yesterday I tried to sell off 225 shares, but I didn't have enough positions, and that's because I had already done a sale a little bit earlier for 600 shares, 700 shares on the first, so there weren't any shares left for me to sell, so I had insufficient positions. You can see here I purchased 500 shares of Google, and you can see the date and the time that these were done. Or I attempted to, and it didn't go through because it was over my the amount of maximum equity. So here it'll tell you if the order is executed or if there was actually a problem. And again, if you're not sure what any of these descriptions mean, you just go up to this blue circle with the I and click on that, and it will allow you to look at the definitions with a little bit more detail. Okay, now to enter a trade. We have three different trade types that we can enter. We have stocks trades, mutual fund trades, and bond trades. The stock trades, we go in here. If we want to look up a company by the name of the company, we can just type in the company name here. Let's see. Microsoft. Search by company name, and it brings up the ticker symbol for that company. I click on that. It pre-populates here. Now I have to decide, do I want to buy, sell, short, or cover this stock? If I wish to buy it, I click buy. I have a choice between a market order and a limit order. Market order says, I don't care what the price is, I want it, I'm going to purchase this, I'm going to get the end of day pricing, whatever it is. A limit order says that I don't want to expose myself too much and that I only have a certain amount of money to spend on this, and so if it goes above a certain amount, I don't want it. So I could set a limit order of, say, 101 shares, and I'm going to purchase 46 them at $46 or less. At the end of the day, when the market closes, the system checks to see what the close-up price is, and if it's $46 or less, it'll execute. If not, the order will be canceled. That's what happens when you do a limit order. If I had done a market order, I wouldn't enter any information in here, and it would execute no matter what the price is. I now preview my trade. I look to make sure, do I want to buy? Yes, this is the company I want to buy. These are the number of shares. This is the price. And now I go in and I enter my password. And this confirms that I've looked it over and said this is what I really want and that a mistake has not been made. I confirm my trade. It tells me that my order is confirmed. It's going to be residing in pending transactions until it executes. And then it will appear tomorrow in my portfolio after the batching process tonight. You'll see it in the account holdings if it in fact does execute. Another type of trade that I can enter is a mutual fund. Now the mutual fund is very similar to the stock trades. And I can go in here and I can search, let's say. I put in the Fidelity, I search for the different types. I look in here and I see that I have several choices, and I'm going to select this one based on the research that I've done. I put in the number of shares that I want, and I preview my trade. I look here, yes, this is what I really want, and again, I confirm. And I confirm. Remember, it is case sensitive, so be sure that you are entering it exactly as it is given to you. And my order has confirmed. The third type of trade that we have is a bond trade. The bond trade here, I have to, bonds are a little bit different than they are in the real world. Here we're able to buy bonds in $1,000 increments. We have corporate bonds, we have municipal bonds, and we have government bonds. So I have a choice. If I wanted a corporate bond, something from GE, I could click on, put the letter G in here, search for GE, brings up all of the corporate bonds that are out there under the letter G. But I'm going to look for a municipal bond. Let's see if we have any here. I'm looking at what is the coupon rate and when is it going to make another payment. Last payment was made in April, next payment is in October. Since this is going to fall during the course of my game, it's a good opportunity for me. I put in the, it automatically loaded the information. I say that I want to buy it. I come down here, I put in my dollar amount, I preview my trade, I put in my password to confirm that this is what I really want, and I confirm my trade. And we can see here that the trade order has been confirmed. So that is the long and the short of the student portfolio screens. I've made a couple of trades. They're going to be sitting here in the pending area until they actually go through and execute. If I wanted to, I could potentially cancel them before they execute, but I'm going to leave them there because I'm comfortable with the information that I've put in. Now you'll notice that I go back to my home screen, nothing has changed even though I've purchased a few more things, and that's because it doesn't batch until the evening. It'll show up tomorrow on my screen. Make sure the students log out when they have finished and before they turn the computer over to somebody else. So next I want to show you and spend a little bit more time on the Teacher Support Center. In the Teacher Support Center, this is where we have all the information for you to get curriculum. Okay, so I've entered into the Teacher Support Center. To get to the Teacher Support Center, my advisor ID and password. This will give me access to the Teacher Support Center where I can get lessons, information on getting started, and be able to view my students' portfolios here. So the Getting Started section has a teacher guide. This is a PDF, so if I wanted to find out about team portfolios, I just click on team portfolios. It'll take me to that part of the teacher guide, and I can go through and find out more information. I can scroll down and get additional information down here, or just go up to the top of the screen and look at something else. Do you know the rules, and the answers to do you know the rules. So all of this information is available there. Back to the Teacher Support Center again. We have Understanding Portfolios, and this is a great place to go to get information about entering a trade. We went over that just before, but if you've forgotten, there's some slides here that will help you to find out more information about entering trades, and they're animated with different information to help you through that process. The Teacher Support Center again. As we scroll down, the rules of the game, just like the students had the link to the rules of the game, you have that available to you here. Related links also, students have that same screen. You can go in here, get access to the Museum of Finance, to Morningstar, etc. Again, I'm going to skip over. I'm going to look at Manage Student Portfolios. I'm going to start at the bottom. Participation certificates. These are for the top students will be recognized by the council. However, they're going to be, all of your students are going to work hard, so you might want to recognize them as well. You can click on the participation certificates, type in their names, and print out the certificates to give them personally at an awards presentation you do at the school. Troubleshooting and help desk. These kind of go hand in hand here. Troubleshooting are some frequently asked questions and the answers to them. If you can't find the answers to a question you might have, click on the help desk. That will take you directly to your coordinator email, and you can type out a real quick description of the whatever's going on, and Brett will be sure to get back to you as quickly as he possibly can with some answers. Changing password. So the students were able to change the password for their portfolios. You can change the password for the Teacher Support Center here. So if you wish to change it to something a little bit easier to remember, just click there. It's pretty self-explanatory to walk yourself through it. But this area you're going to use most frequently is the Manage Student Portfolios. In the Manage Student Portfolios is the View Rankings and Portfolios. I click on this, and it brings up the information about the different teams that I have available. So once my teams have been activated, because this is a game that's starting in September, the list of the teams will be down here, and all I need to do is click on the team ID, and it'll actually take me into the student's portfolio, and I can see and I can walk around like we did before. I can look at their account holdings, and I can look at their transaction notes, and all the different screens that we went to before when we were in the student's portfolio, you can do from here in the Teacher Support Center. Okay, now in the classroom. This is the section that was developed for the teachers to make this as easy a fit into your classroom as possible. What we've done is we've created a list of lessons that are for the teachers to use in the classroom. The list goes in an order that we recommend, but the program is meant to be flexible. So even though it goes in the order that we recommend, if you feel that you want to do it in a different order, that's fine. So if I come in here and I'm a teacher of middle school and I'm working with a group of novices or first-time users of the stock market game in my math class, I want to look at the core lessons. The core lessons are the 12 basic lessons that we were told from teachers students needed to be familiar with topics that students need to be familiar with in order to have a good experience with the stock market game. So once they have, once they've gotten into their teams and gotten started, you can start doing the lessons with them. We have a lesson that kind of begins things off called Understanding the SMG, and this is something that you may or may not want to teach to your students. You may just want to use it as a reference for yourself. You might not want to use a class period for it, but it is sometimes helpful in getting things organized. Then we have our, as I had mentioned, the 12 core lessons. So before they invest, what is a company, what is a stock? Then we have our selecting investments, tracking investments, and at the end of the trading session, a reflection lesson. There are a lot of lessons here. We're aware of that, but just keep in mind that with everything that we teach as teachers, we get a little bit more familiar and we can add a little bit more into the program. So you may not get to all 12 of these. You may only get to about 4 or 5 of them, and that's fine. It's going to be more than the students had as far as knowledge when they came into your classroom. So anything that you can teach them is going to be helpful to them going forward. The lessons that you're looking here, of these, the ones that I really do recommend, however, that you make sure students understand are what is a company, what is a stock, and how do I find a ticker symbol? Because until they can find a valid ticker symbol and understand that that's part ownership of a company, they're going to be a little frustrated if they're trying to buy Apple and they're putting in APPL and they're getting Appelpeat, because that's not really what they want. So once they've learned how to identify the correct ticker symbols and understand that, they can really go in and do a lot of the trading and managing the portfolio based on what they know, what they're hearing, what they're seeing in the news, etc. But all of these lessons are important pieces, so the more you can get to, the better off their experience will be. So this brings up what I would call almost like a unit plan, and I click on the link here. It brings up a description of what this lesson's about. So it's for the middle school, and I can click here to actually get the PDF of the lesson. You'll notice that the lessons are, it's for middle school, all levels of middle school. It takes about 50 minutes, so about a period long. What we've done is we put a teacher background section in here to give you confidence and enough information to get the lesson started in your class, and feel confident that you're going to be able to address questions. There's vocabulary, different pieces of information that are going to be covered in the lesson itself. We've had our performance objectives, the materials that you'll need listed here. We've got a springboard or a motivation activity. Questions that you might want to ask are listed here. Then your procedure. And you'll notice that we've broken it down and we leveled it. This is novice level, apprentice level, master, grandmaster level. 2 reasons that we've done this. The novice level is for beginners brand new to the game. But you might teach your 7th and 8th graders. And in 7th grade, you do the stock market game with them and you do the novice level. And then you have some of those students back again the following year in 8th grade. And you might want to give them an apprentice level or a master or grandmaster level activity. The other opportunity to use this leveling is in a classroom where you have students that need a little bit more to keep them engaged. Maybe you're overachievers, and so you might want to give them that apprentice level while you're working with the rest of the students at the novice level. You see your assessments, you see your applications, and your enrichment activities. So that's all available to you here. You noticed in the lesson plan that it listed the materials. Those are found in the activities. So we have activity sheet 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a fact sheet that was listed, and then we have math behind the market. The activity sheets, you don't need to do all 4 of those. You might want to look them over and see which is most applicable. You can do all 4 of them, but again, what's going to work best, the program is meant to be flexible, so whatever works best for you is what you should use. Math Behind the Market is a program that was funded by McGraw-Hill. We looked at where students in the U.S. were not doing as well on NAEP type tests, and we've created worksheets to help them practice those skills. So talks about what is a stock, the basic lesson itself. Then we look at thinking algebraically, interpreting statistics, commuting quantitative information, tackling complex problems. You'll notice that they're color coded. So as we go down, you'll see the thinking algebraically, the tackling complex problems, etc. With all of our worksheets, what we've also tried to do is provide an answer key for you. So even though we're smarter than a fifth grader, we have the answer key that ensures that we are smarter than the fifth graders. So that's the information that you can get to from the lesson sequence. If I go to lessons and activities, I can actually search for a particular lesson by the keyword. So if I want to do a lesson today on risk, I go down here, I click on risk, I hit next. I'm a high school teacher, again working with novice, but in my business. I hit display. It tells me there are actually two lessons. What is risk? What is diversification? So I can pick the lesson that I wanted to do today, click on that, and print it out, or just get to the activities quickly. The other thing you'll see here are standards. So we have standards. We have the common standards, which are our national common core standards right here, the national standards, or we can look and see what are the Arizona standards. And so I can see Arizona standards for what is a risk at the high school level. We've got language arts, we've got mathematics, social studies, technology. So these have all been correlated to this one particular lesson, which is what is risk. And it's listed up here. So that's available there. The other place that we can actually look at standards is by clicking on the standards tab. Again, I can do the national, or I can go to Arizona. I can select mathematics this time, and we'll go middle school display report. And here you're going to get a matrix. Across the top, it shows you the different math standards that Arizona has. Down the side, it has links to each of those 12 core lessons. But to get the information about what exactly MA01 means, I click here, and I see that it is number sense, understanding and applying numbers, and the actual description is spelled out for me. But sometimes this is just a good thing to have available if somebody's wondering why you're using the stock market game in the classroom. So that was our standards. We have projects as well. We have some overarching projects that are available. So students are doing the stock market game and managing their portfolios, but you might want them to provide some other proof of learning. We'll look at the high school level. We'll look at social studies, stick with novice. And you'll see here a list of lessons, projects. The projects are very similar to the lessons. However, instead of doing, one 50-minute lesson, the projects are something that you're going to be working with the students over the course of the semester. So you might want to start them about 2 or 3 weeks into the game, and then each week build on a little activity so that at the end they have a project to present. We are looking at globalization, ethics in the marketplace, managing a mutual fund, volatility, Super Bowl, election cycle, and then the business cycles. So different opportunities to teach a little bit more using our program projects here. In addition to the projects, we have other assessments. We have some paper and pencil type tests. So we have pre and post tests that are available for each of the units. So you would select before you invest, pre-test, and you would provide to the students to get an idea of what they already know. So what's their prior knowledge? What am I going to need to cover? What am I going to need to concentrate on? The post-test is very similar to the pre-test. We've changed some of the numbers, the names, the stocks, etc. But for the most part, we're looking to compare apples to apples, so they're very similar in nature. We also offer rubrics. So if you had your students doing a project, they're going to present an oral report as a group. You're going to grade it. And this is for your middle school students. You will get a 4-scale rubric oral presentations. It's something you can hand out to the students beforehand so that they know what they're being graded on, and then actually use it as a grading sheet as well. The last section that we need to look at here, publications. You can look at publications, a whole list. This is a list of the different publications that are available. In the News is a publication that looks at what's going on in the world, how's it affecting the marketplace. These come out several times a semester. The lessons, if you wanted to print off all the lessons that we have available, you could do that here. A lot of paper, and keep in mind that we are updating information on this fairly frequently, so if you print it, it may become outdated fairly soon, so just be aware of that. Math Behind the Market, you saw the Math Behind the Market that I showed you in conjunction with the What is a Stock lesson. This is, you could print off the entire What is a, Math Behind the Market right here, and not quite as long, it's probably about I think it was about 84 pages or something. New York City Department of Education had given us money to do a social studies unit. So this is similar to the Math Behind the Market. We were asked to create something that helps students with standardized tests. So this social studies unit is, we have one for the elementary level and then one for the middle school level. And it helps students to practice the skills with database questions, timelines, political cartoons, all of that kind of social studies related topics. And so you can click, that's available to everyone as well. We have Stock Talk, which looks at the different topics and helps to define them through a fictional story. So it's geared more towards elementary, middle school, maybe struggling readers at the high school level. The Stock Talk newsletters are also offered in Spanish, so if you have ESL students or ELL students, these might be helpful to you. The other way that you can look up information in the publications, however, is to actually look up by topic. So before we were going to do that lesson on risk, I can actually go in here and say I want to have some different publication materials. So if I go into in the news, it's going to bring up the in the news that actually deal with risk. So you can see up here my keyword is risk, the dates that this information or that these newsletters were written, and then a brief description of them. So another way to look up information on what is risk. If I go here, gives me the history of the market, mechanics of the stock market, and information on securities, so I can get a little bit more information here as well. And the last one is Our Philosophy, and it just kind of talks about how you can integrate it into the classroom, how you can teach it across different subjects, the pedagogy behind teaching investing in the classroom. So that is the Teacher Support Center, and again, I emphasize there's a lot of information in here. It's meant to help you, not be overwhelming. The use what you want. You can adapt the lessons to be, what works in your classroom. You can, you don't have to use every last piece of it, but we wanted to make it as comprehensive and useful to the teachers so that they could easily integrate the program into their classroom. Thank you for your attention today during our webinar on how to get started. If you have additional questions, please contact Brett. He'd be more than happy to get back to you with any additional information that you might need, and we look forward to working with you. Have a great day.